Save the baby shrimp. Oh, wait a minute. Let's save something a little less tasty. How about it? I had a friend in California. His name was Morris. Morris said, "Let me have some of your scrimp." Hey, man, it ain't scrimp, it's shrimp. That's what I said, scrimp. Oh, man. You know, we've also been getting some pretty good chuckles about these global warming freaks getting stuck in the ice. And you know, that is funny. You gotta admit. You know what ain't funny? Is that this carbon-friendly global warming climate change crap has turned into an expensive man-made parasite disguised as an industry of compassion as our only hope to save the planet, to save the children and the otters and the beavers. And despite reasoned objections from many in the scientific community, the liberals and our government, they just pretend they don't exist. And you know what? And if you disagree with them, you're dismissed as you're a climate denier. Ain't nobody denying the climate. We're denying your manipulated science, we're denying your fabricated solutions, and we're denying your manufactured problems. And welcome to Intellectual Froglegs. Here we are, America, year 2014, and we are in deep, deep, deep stuff. We got issues. If we don't stand up now, it's game over. The people that are in power must be removed. Must be removed. And to that end, November's election is quite possibly the last chance we're going to have to save at least some resemblance of this country for our kids. You know, and I know some decent Democrat voters out there, and you guys need to take your party back. This ain't your father's Democrat Party. And here, I'm going to give you a great example. Even the most hardened Democrat voter will probably agree that the New York Times is a fair representation of the Democrat Party. Right? Having said that, we just passed a Chinese holiday, which was the birthday of Chairman Mao, you know, the mass murderer. This guy was responsible for like 40 to 70 million deaths, 16 to 30 million died of starvation. Anyway, let's look at how the New York Times covered this event in January of 2004. A bleak anniversary, Mao the mass murderer. In fact, it's a good article. The author compares Mao to Hitler and Stalin, and he goes on to point out how, quote, Mao's economic fantasies were causing the peasants to starve. Economic fantasies? Sound familiar? Anyway, fast forward to present day New York Times, covering the same event just a few weeks ago. Happy birthday, Chairman Mao! In 10 years, the New York Times goes from Mao the mass murderer to happy birthday, Chairman Mao. You draw your own conclusion on that one.
There's been no warming now for 15 years, indeed for 17 years.
Yeah.
Now over those same 17 years, of course it's true, we've put more carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, 8% more. But that 8% represents 33%, a full third of all the human carbon dioxide since the Industrial Revolution has gone into the atmosphere in the last 17 years, and there has been no warming at all. That invalidates the prime assumption of the Intergovernmental Panel.
Before them, I don't know what
The telltale signs that prove global warming is occurring right now. this leftist anti-capitalism scam, it started in the 1970s as global cooling, and it was supported and promoted by scientists receiving government grants. Government grants. In 40 years, these know-it-alls have gone from global cooling to global warming to now climate change, also supported and promoted by scientists receiving government grants. Follow the freaking money.
I really can't
But
stay.
baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go
But
away.
baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has
Been hoping that you drop in.
very nice.
I'll hold your hands, they're just like
My mother
ice.
will start to
Beautiful, what's
and
your...
father will be pacing the floor.
Listen to the fireplace
So
roar.
really I'd venture some.
Beautiful, please don't
Well, maybe
hurry.
just a half a drink
Put
more.
some records on while I pour.
neighbors might
Baby, it's bad out there.
say, what's in this
No
drink?
cabs to be had out there.
I wish I knew
Your
how
eyes are like starlight
to
now.
break this spell.
I'll take your hat, your hair looks
I wanna
swell.
say no.
Mind if I...
We should keep our planet livable, and if it's getting hotter and hotter, this can give a positive feedback and the temperature can get out of control and then there is no rescue.
I mean, these global warming followers ignore significant facts while accepting fairy tale nonsense.
For years, we operated under the belief that we could continue consuming our planet's natural resources without consequence. We were wrong.
Global warming is melting the polar ice caps. I think we're on the verge of a major climate shift.
But this is typical of left-wing emotion-based issues. Every one of their issues is based on emotion. And you know what? You know, if these environmental jackasses were sincere, why don't they use Skype or FaceTime or one of the many other ways to communicate and set up a webinar? But quit flying all over the damn globe on our money.
Make me an offer that I can refuse. Make me respectable. This is my last time in the unemployment line. I've got a very life. I'll take a long night, impossible odds. Keeping my back to the wall. If it takes all that, it's just what I am. Well, I'm gonna be a new kind of man, keeping my mind on a better life, where happiness is only a heartbeat away. Paradise, can it be all I heard it was? I close my eyes, maybe I'm already
All right, the new monthly jobs reports just crossed. We get the numbers now from CNBC's Michelle Caruso-Cabrera. Michelle.
Ugly number.
Oh.
Number of jobs created in December, 74,000.
Oh, good
the
Lord.
expectation was 200,000. But also, the unemployment rate went from 7% down to 6.7%. And you might think that looks good, but in part that's because people are still appear to be withdrawing from the labor force.
So as you were saying that it dropped from 7 to 6.7%, Lee, you just said something that would sound counterintuitive, but you said, oh gosh, that's not good.
That's not good.
That's really
because
bad news.
it's not.
Why?
Because it's a big drop with these numbers being so poor.
Right.
And, you know, every month we go through this, the unemployment rate is going to drop as more people fall out of the workforce. And sometimes
As
you're
more
sort of,
people just
they drop up,
completely
they give
give
up
up.
looking. They just
Yeah.
give up looking, and then you stop getting counted. And then you stop getting counted.
There's a phrase in English that climate change is a fact. It's been a fact for 4 billion years, hasn't it?
I think it's so.
In the last 10 or 15 years, has the world got warmer or stayed the same or got cooler?
I don't know.
You tell me, what temperature should the Earth be on average?
Now,
The best temperature for the Earth. Temperature today?
yes, I don't know. It's not the same, not every day the same temperature.
All right.
And isn't it a tad coincidental how the solution to global cooling, global warming, and global climate change are all the same? We have to give the government more money. Regulate us, please. Tax us, please. Regulate us till we bleed. Seriously, have you reached such a level of idiocy that you actually believe that politicians can change the climate?
This was the moment when the rise of the oceans began to slow and our planet began to heal.
Or that they even care? I mean, no, if this were not a scam, they wouldn't have to lie. I mean, look, okay, aside from the climate gate, which we've discussed several times, where UN scientists, in their own emails to one another, admitted to manipulating the data. But now we got our own Secretary of State, what's his name? Jean-Francois Kerry. He wrote in a Huffington Post piece in 2009 about our impending doom. I swear, he quote, "The Arctic will be ice-free in the summer of 2013. The Arctic will be ice-free in the summer of 2013. Only a lunatic would make such preposterous claims. Publicly, too. If a Republican or a conservative or a normal American had publicly stated such outlandish nonsense, you can bet he or she would not be Secretary of State today."
But then there's a cousin of CO2, now it's called carbon monoxide. If you look carefully, the reason why carbon monoxide is not quite considered to be a serious gas that would warm the planet is basically it has a very short lifetime in the atmosphere. The most you would have is actually 2 months. But IPCC somehow now is saying that the impact from the carbon monoxide forcing will be at least 400 to 500% more than what the sun can do. This is another one of those blatant manipulations of fact that is really rather tricky.
And then, back at this past November, while everybody was focused on this disaster called Obamacare, Obama signed another executive order, and this one for climate change, another one of his royal decrees. And but here it is. I mean, I went over and tried to read it, and I'm sorry I did because it made my head hurt. But look, check it out. Executive order preparing the United States for the impacts of climate change. I'm telling you, this is one of the most ridiculously lawyered up documents I have ever read in my life. First, he laughably claims that the Constitution gives him this authority, and his wildly inaccurate reference to excessively high temperatures kind of sticks out too. But the rest of the language is just ridiculous. I mean, did you know we had an intra-agency climate change adaptation task force? Of course you did. A task force for weather? Every one of these people need to be fired. Go get real jobs, you parasites. Quit making up jobs. Timmy wants to be a cloud dancer.
I was born my papa's son. When I hit the ground, I was on my run.
You know, the extreme left absolutely have a monopoly on the flow of information in this country. That's the only way you can explain such en masse acceptance of politically motivated nonsense as fact. That's why I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Conservatives, you need to invest in the media, because the media is the flow of information. It is the flow of ideas. And it is exactly how the liberals are creating these false perceptions and repeating them over and over until they're accepted as reality. Imagine what we could do with the truth on our side. Case in point, you know, a lot of good people believe in this man-made climate change, global warming. And you know what? It's absolutely understandable. I mean, over the past decade, our government, in conjunction with governments around the globe, they've launched a wildly successful campaign to promote their man-made climate change agenda. Which, you know, it's not that difficult to do when you have infinite budgets that you steal from other people. Hell, you know, government schools were even showing Al Gore's movie to kids. Talk about a captive audience. You know, seriously, if I had an infinite budget, access to our educational system, and a decade, I could make your ass believe in unicorns that sing like Steven Tyler.
It ain't easy living like a gypsy and tell you, honey, how I feel.
But why is this man-caused climate change such an important issue? This manipulated junk science is now dictating public policies. Policies that impact every aspect of our daily lives. It's costing us a fortune, and it's destroying our economy. It's a scam.
Hey everybody, this is Wild Bill for America, and you're watching Intellectual Froglegs.
And then we got these enviro-fascists preventing us from using our own vast natural resources. You know, many of our problems could be solved tomorrow. Tomorrow, if we could just free up our gas, oil, and coal industries. But that will never happen with these environmental Nazis in charge.
You know, when I was asked earlier about the issue of coal, under my plan, electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket. Even, you know, regardless of what I say about whether coal is good or bad.
One of the biggest red flags on this global warming thing is how so fanatically it's embraced by the United Nations. I mean, the United Nations is a famously corrupt organization. Most votes are controlled by kleptocrats and outright dictatorships. Most of the member states, that's what they're called, member states, they're rated as either not free or partly free by Freedom House, and both Communist China and Putin's Russia have veto power. So it's hardly surprising that the UN scientists get busted for cheating. That's what they do. What is surprising is the number of people that still believe the United Nations is a credible organization. The United Nations, a democracy of dictators.
God bless the United Nations, protecting and defending all the populations.
Our country must take action to address climate change.
We need cleaner forms of energy, and we need them fast.
The best things in life are free, but you can give them to the birds and bees. I want money. That's what I want. That's what I want. That's what I want. Your love gives me such a thrill. But your love won't pay my bills. I want money. That's what I want.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Get over to the website and sign up for the show alerts. And you can also join me on Facebook and Twitter. And thank you for the awesome donations. Froglegs are free to watch, but they're not free to make. And we are absolutely 100% funded by you. Please share the show with your friends. Use force if necessary. Just tell them you're with Local 273. And make sure you tune in next time when Michelle Obama says...